Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I thought this time we'd combine two of my most favourite things, video games and cats. I'm a massive cat man. I think they're awesome. They laze about all day, eat a bit of food, all they ask for is a little bit of fuss, and they're just happy chilling out spending time with you. So is cats in video games, where you play as cats, encounter cats, just plain old cat stuff. There's really no better place to start than Garfield. I absolutely love this. I love the books. I remember collecting for the sticker book, which I recently finished, bought all the final stickers off eBay and finally finished the album that I started in 1989. There was the cartoon and films. I never had the films myself. I remember back in the day, my friend had the cartoon and I put a tape recorder in front of the TV so I could at least record the audio, and I remember listening to that on a family holiday. Definitely had a Garfield t-shirt as well, so when I heard there was a game, I had to have it. We first picked this game up on the Sinclair Spectrum, and I loved it. Didn't have a clue what you needed to do in the game, but it was black and white, which wasn't a bad thing because it looked just like the comic strip. In the early 1990s, we finally got a Commodore Amiga, and copied games were definitely not in short supply. And Big Fat Hairy Deal came on one of those copied discs, so playing the game but on the Commodore Amiga, and it did kind of look like the cartoon, finally in colour. Again, still didn't have a clue what you had to do, but it had more screens. It was kind of playing the game you already knew, but yeah, extra locations, really cool to see. Still had no idea what to do. I've seen the long play for this, but some of these puzzles you would have never have figured out. You've got to rescue your girlfriend from the city pound, and you've got to avoid Odie and Nermal and a bunch of other nasties. And it's kind of like Dizzy, picking up objects to solve puzzles. And there's pizza eating and other weird bits and pieces, but yeah, really cool being able to see like a famous cartoon character on the Sinclair Spectrum and Commodore Amiga. One of the biggest games in the 1980s in the UK was Jet Set Willy. This game was massive, it was everywhere. And I'd say it's easily the most famous game on the Sinclair Spectrum. The prequel of this game was Manic Miner, but it did have its own sequel as well, Jet Set Willy 2. But the fans absolutely loved this game, and there were loads of modifications of this game, redrawn rooms, including entirely new games, which is one we're looking at here, Frossia the Cat. This was released in 2025, and I think it's by a Russian developer. It's got the same aim as the first game, just pick up objects to solve the game. Some of the screens are easier than Jet Set Willy and some are a bit harder. But one thing that is definitely harder is the jumps. Your character's probably twice the size of your character in the first game, so you've got to be really careful. And it also has that thing that Jet Set Willy has, which is what we call chain deaths, in which you respawn at the very point you entered the screen. So if you were jumping whilst you entered a screen, and fell down a hole, you would respawn and you would continue to jump down that hole. Nothing you can do, one little mistake and the game is over. EverQuest 2 was released way back in 2004 and it's a massively multiplayer online RPG. But it's not just about defeating enemies, getting their gear, looting up and defeating harder stuff, it's also got a fantastic housing system in the game. You can buy a house in the game and you can furnish it with all the things you can pick up off your adventures, or you can buy stuff on the broker. And there's amazing dedication and creativity players have shown in decorating their houses. And in the big cities there's cats and dogs roaming the street, but you can also go to the pet store to get pets to go in your house to decorate it. Cats, dogs, chickens and pigs, parrots, it's all there. And this brings us to the story of Patches the cat. One of the early game testers, she just bought her first home in the game, even before the game got released. And she wanted to decorate it with a bunch of furniture, and she also wanted to pick up a cat to put in her home, which she did. And with a bunch of the pets you can make them do a bunch of tricks. There's like a right click context menu where you can make them do backflips, you can put them to bed, make them hiss, a bunch of different tricks. And one of the options is give pepper. This would make the cat sneeze and play a sneeze-in sound effect. The player really thought this was funny, so she fed Patches the cat more pepper. The cat kept sneezing, she kept feeding it more pepper. She kept going, more pepper, more pepper, more pepper. And unfortunately, the cat died in game. That was it, the cat was flat out. Nothing could be done. Obviously thinking this was a bug, she posted it on the EverQuest 2 forums and asked the developers what was going on. They simply replied that it was working as intended, due to the basic physics and biology of the cat. And this started a now legendary thread that has unfortunately been deleted, talking about not peppering the cat, but the players were not going to accept this. She called out for help from other players, calling them round to her house to see if they could resurrect the cat. Templars started arriving, Inquisitors, Wardens, Furies, Paladins, all trying to use their powerful healing magic to resurrect Patches the cat. All to no avail. A drum circle was set up. Songs of resurrection. Potions and elixirs applied. Rumours that Sony Online Entertainment, the game developers, were going to ban people for virtual animal cruelty. Evil aligned defilers turned up. Good aligned mystics turned up. But unfortunately, nothing could be done. Patches was gone. Players posted their condolences on the official forums, and reminding people to never pepper the cat. Rest in peace, Patches. Copycat's one of the more recent cat games. This came out in 2024, and it takes a look at cat ownership, initially from the owner's point of view and later the cat's point of view, which forms the majority of the game. The game starts out with a visit to a cattery. You take a look around several different types of cat, pick one you like, sign a declaration that you'll always look after your cat, take your cat home, and from then the adventure begins. The premise of the game is that your new owner Olive has lost a cat that looks just like you. And eventually this cat does come home, and you are the copycat. You're the cat that looks just like her cat. The game has a message of responsibility to pets, I would say, and it focuses on abandonment, feelings and things like that. Your new owner Olive is perhaps not the best person to own a cat. She's a little misguided, and she's also got some medical conditions which mean she's not able to look after you as she should. You start by hiding away and eventually exploring the house, finding food, and of course destroying sofas and toilet rolls, one of the cat's most favourite things to do. Olive doesn't immediately recognise that her cat has come home, so she thinks you're the outsider, and you're kind of locked out the house and have to deal with rejection and having no family. No place to go. And the game tells its story through flashbacks and dream sequences. And for some strange reason, halfway through this story, Olive decides to dump you in the middle of nowhere, thinking you will have a better life. And I guess for me, that's kind of one of the bits in the story that kind of hit home. One of my cats, Evie, her owner passed away. She was an elderly lady, she passed away. And her family came and cleared out her house, and they left the cat there. They just let her fend for herself until I picked her up and adopted her. It's just a mentality that I've never been able to get my head around. Cats or dogs, pet abandonment, I just can't understand. From being abandoned, you have to make your own way as a stray, trying to find food and protecting yourself, and you do eventually find your way back home. An empty home. It's empty, there's nothing there, and Olive is no longer there either. You eventually find she's been taken into an old folks' home, where she's probably better off, and you meet your copycat, and you finally find your owner Olive. For me, the game didn't really have a great ending. Just something about this doesn't seem right to me. It should be about pet ownership, looking after your pet and cherishing them, responsibility to yourself and your pets. But this owner Olive, she has no clue. She shouldn't be looking after animals, and she has no real clue how to look after them either. The game does conclude where you and your copycat finally find Olive at the old folks' home, but it doesn't really close out on where the cats live now. I think it's a game anyone should play if they're looking at adopting a pet, but I think the ending didn't really pay off for this one. You Have to Win the game was released back in 2012, and it's a game that's available for the total cost of nothing. This game is completely free on Steam. And it's a free game that is worth money. This is a great little game. It's basically a Metroidvania type game. Pick up different objects so you can access different areas. There's different abilities, enabling platforms, wall jumps, things like that. It's a really good game, this one. And it's got that awesome retro CGA graphics style as well. Remember when PC games all used to look like this? Purple, black, blue. Just iconic of its time. And when you finish the game, there's an extra spicy mode as well. It's the same game, but it's got a lot more hazards in it, a lot more spikes. You're gonna have to be a lot more careful. Well, the game has a cat mode, which basically means you play the game as a cat, and yet you have 9 lives. So this can be quite a difficult game, but playing it as the cat with slightly different jumping dimensions to the normal character you play as well as the challenge of finishing the game with just 9 lives available to you, it's going to be a tough one. But this is a great game. You should definitely pick this one up. It's nothing. It's free. It's a free game. It's great. A Walk in the Dark's available on a bunch of different systems, and this is another game that's well worth picking up. It's a bit like Super Meat Boy. It's all about speedrunning, I would say. There's various stages where you have to finish them in a certain par time, and you get extra rewards if you finish them below the par time. There's auto-scrolling levels where you have to flip and jump and get your timing right. But for me, the best thing about this game is the challenges. Once you've finished the game, you kind of unlock little challenges. And it's these that are really the pinnacle of the game. If you can conquer these, then you have nothing left to learn. There's lots of sub-second timing on this one, and really tiny efficiency changes you can make to beat the level a little bit faster. It can be very tough, but a lot of this is muscle memory. If you want to practice with the agility of a cat, this is the game for you. Milo and the Magpies might well be my most favourite cat game. I found this on Steam whilst searching for cat games. And I have a cat called Milo. It's a cat game, so I had to play it. And it's point and click as well, old school. In this game you play Milo the cat and you're chased by a bunch of magpies and you get lost and you have to find your way back home. You do this by going through the different neighbours' gardens, solving a bunch of puzzles and finally getting home. Most of the puzzles are fairly straightforward, but there are a couple where I think I did have to look up for the solution because it was a bit bizarre. All the graphics in the game are sketched by the author. They're all hand-drawn pencil drawings and they're scanned in. It's got a really cool style to it, and all the music is composed by the author as well. A nice relaxing game. A lot of it is about interacting with the scenery to find clues, or listening out for sound cues that might point you on where you need to go next. Some of the puzzle solutions are a bit bizarre, like this one where you get the neighbour to turn up his hi-fi, the guy playing the piano goes out and shouts at him, you change the music on the piano that plays the cat boogie woogie, you start dancing, another cat comes out, you use the statue to fire the arrow at the cat that knocks its collar off, which is used to activate the cat flap, and then you can go inside. But a lot of this is just clicking stuff and trying things out. You will figure it out eventually. There's a few little mini games here that give you clues for puzzles later on in the game. But this is another one that's definitely worth playing. You finally find your way home and you actually end up saving one of the magpie chicks, and the magpies themselves help you. They help you get home and give you a lift back to your owner. And it's got a fantastic little outgoing tune on this one. And there's actually another game that follows on from this, Milo and the Christmas Gift. I've not actually played it yet, but it's available for free. Maybe I'm going to save it for Christmas. The last game we're going to take a look at is one I've looked at previously in my VR episode, Kittypocalypse. This game is awesome, so much fun. It's a tower defense game where you place miniguns, turrets, rocket launchers and other defensive mechanisms to oppose the oncoming horde of cats. And it's about deploying the right defensive measures in the right locations to take out different types of cat. They're not all just grunts, there's different ones that are resistant to different types of attacks. You get the ones that are in fridges that are armoured, and it's a really immersive game for VR, this one. Really good sense of depth and motion. You can power up and upgrade your tower defences. There's 50 different upgrades you can buy. As well as different levels and different landscapes, there's high ground and low ground, and different weapons are more effective in different situations. If you have got a VR headset, this one's an easy recommendation. Well guys, I think that's going to do us for our list of cat games this time. There's plenty more out there, and I know I haven't played Stray yet. Everyone keeps going on about Stray. I do own it on Xbox, I do own it on PC, but I'm about 2 minutes into it, so maybe I'll go and put some time into that. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys next time.